Spice Familia! Thank you for joining me for today's daily dose of spice, where we inject a little bit of positivity into your day each and every single day. So we are streaming to a couple of different platforms here. I've got Instagram over here. I've got some lovely people right in front of me. So I would love to give you a shout out. Let me know where you are joining us from, where in this whole wide world, right? Because that's what's wonderful about this. Where are you joining us from? I would love to say hello, put your comment up on screen, and give you a shout out. I am from Ohio, and it started snowing today. Kids had a snow day yesterday, not really a snow day, but a low temperature day. So no school because the temperatures were so low. So today I've kind of been running around. I was at the doctor's office getting my thyroid ultrasound done because I have a couple lumps and bumps happening here. So I had to get that checked out. Have to go every couple months to keep an eye on that and make sure they don't grow and change. That's the whole purpose of doing follow-up ultrasounds, just to keep an eye on everything, make sure it's not growing and getting out of control there. So it's a pain in the butt. Yeah, inconvenient, but definitely necessary to stay on top of things, right? We always want to be proactive with our health. We don't want to be reactive and trying to play catch up, right? So staying in front of it is always best. So like I said, same thing with all the other things, right? I've got asthma, I've got a couple other things. So always staying on top of those, especially if you got something like diabetes, or if you have high blood pressure or cholesterol, got some cardiac problems, definitely you want to stay on top of those. Keep your appointments, make sure you're going to them, make sure you're getting your lab work. And for myself, how I ended up finding out about my thyroid was I started having difficulty swallowing, and went to my doctor, and we kind of ran through a bunch of things. They're like, oh, it's acid reflux, and oh, it's this, and oh, it's this. And finally just got some routine lab work, and my labs were a little funky for my thyroid. It's a really simple test, guys. It's just some lab work. It's just a little bit of blood that you need to have drawn. And sometimes I would always suggest, if you kind of notice that you are having some other signs and symptoms, some funky things that you can't really put your finger on, if you're having like some weight gain or weight loss, if you're finding yourself really hot or really cold, like those extremes, a lot of dry skin conditions can be caused from that, some blood pressure issues, because our thyroid is right here, kind of shaped like a little butterfly right here in your throat, and it releases a lot of hormones. It's a gland. It does a lot of things. And so it can impact all different parts of your body. So if you start noticing something funky happening, you definitely want to get that checked out. So like I said, the blood pressure, the weight gain, the extreme temperature, hot and cold, if you're feeling, sometimes some of that nervousness or anxiety can even come from that. So like I said, a really simple blood test. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Get yourself a blood test. And that will give you some direction, whether you're high or you're low, whether you need some supplementation, whether you need to get some follow-up testing done. So really easy to do. So definitely stay on top of that, okay? And like I said, it's a pain in the butt, but definitely something that we have to do, okay? So I'm glad I'm keeping track of my lumps and bumps here that I have over here, but that's what I had going on this morning, which kind of leads me into the next thing. I have some chronic illnesses that I deal with, and just the thyroid thing is one of them. I've got asthma. I had some issues with pain before, and I've always taken care of family members. Lots of people in my family have diabetes, which is, constant blood sugar checks, constant insulin, constant medications, constantly going to the doctor. Lots of things can happen with that. So if you find yourself with a new diagnosis or a chronic illness like that, there are always new meds, new diagnosis, new tests, and sometimes it can really be overwhelming. And you're not sure how to make sense of it. How are you going to fit it into your life? Maybe you're a mom or you have a really busy job. Doesn't matter what your situation, it can be really difficult to figure out how you're going to incorporate that into your daily life. And so one of the things that I really want to work on is creating a program to help people make sense of the new diagnosis, their illness, because I get asked this all the time. I get messages every single day. Alex, my doctor put me on this. I don't know what it does. What should I be looking out for? I'm taking other medications. Is this going to interact? And, the pharmacies and the doctors, they try to do your best to tell you, but they don't always tell you everything. And so I finally was like, Alex, you need to put something together so that you can really help other people who are kind of in this same boat that are really struggling with that. Because even myself as a nurse, we still get sick and we still have things that happen to us. And we are the worst patients usually. We nurses and healthcare people are like the worst patients. If you are a healthcare person and you're listening to this, give me a heart, give me a thumbs up if you agree with that, because healthcare people can't. Like, we push it and push it and push it way past the time where we should have saw a doctor or done something about something. It happens all the time. We're the worst patients. So I just want to put something together to really empower people, to put them in control of that, make sense of the medications and your diagnosis and your health, and how to do it in a healthy and sustainable way, because you've got lots of stuff going on. You've got lots of things in your life that you want to do, and your disease or your illness, your medication should not stop you from doing any of that. It has not stopped me from living my life and doing the thing. So definitely I would love to help you do that and reclaim some of that, empower yourself, right? So I'm still kind of working out the kinks of it, but I would love your feedback. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, reach out to me. I'd love to talk with you more about it, kind of get your perspective, because I really would like to make it a really great, powerful program. And I can only do that if I have your feedback, because it's all about you and what's going to work best for you. So definitely reach out to me and let me know what you think about it and how we can make it a really great program. So today, for your daily dose of spice, and I have went on and on about myself, so I want to give people a shout out. I've got Carl Sean Watkins over here on Instagram. Thank you. He's tuning in from New Jersey. Well, what? Let's see who else we have over here. We've got Joseph Kinsley. Good morning, New Jersey-based business. That's right. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And we've got Miss Sharon. Sounds like me. Yep. I saw your post about your thyroid and all that. Yep. Definitely. You had surgery recently. So yeah, and surgery can be really difficult when you have that thyroid, because you can make one little slip and you can release a lot of those hormones. You can have a T storm, a thyroid storm, they call it, and it releases all those hormones right into your bloodstream. So definitely not something to be messing around with, right? We want to be proactive about that, because it seems like a little thing, but it can be really serious. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching so far. And like I said, I've been going on and on about me, but if you are new here, welcome to the familia. My name is Alex Rosa, and I am your local educator, results coach, and holistic nurse. I've been sharing all my nursing knowledge with you today. We got Miss Melanie. Hey, girl. Miss Melanie, Miss Melpro. She's fabulous. We got her over here in Cleveland, my girl. Love her very much. So welcome to the familia. And today is your daily dose of spice. And so all of January, we have been talking about spiritual wellness and ways to spice up your spiritual wellness. And the last kind of couple weeks, we've been really talking about spiritual wellness. We've been talking about law of attraction, manifestation, affirmative writing, all those really great things to spice up your spiritual wellness, and how to get things really working and swirling around you, getting that vortex working, so that we can have some great positive things happen to you in your life. And it is all within your control, totally within your control. So I've been talking about goals, and January, right, is always the time for resolutions and goals and intentions, whatever it is that you want to call it. And what I like to say is that resolutions are great, but results are so much better. So let's get you some results. And as a results coach, that's what I'm all about, is helping you find the tools and the processes, the strategies, the easy way, streamline, road map way to get those results that you want, no matter what it is that you're working towards. Because in the end, it's all the same, right? It's about the habits, the routines, what we are doing. Okay. So we've been talking about our goals and what we want to do and how we can spice our goal setting up. And I know we've heard about SMART, right? So setting SMART goals. So they're specific, measurable, actionable, results oriented, and within a certain time frame. But that's kind of like plain Jane, bland. I'm all about spicing things up, right? So when I've been sharing different ways to spice that up. So today I really want to talk about, if the size of your goal is the right size? Is it too big? Is it maybe not big enough, right? Because maybe you've said to yourself, like I kind of put in the description of this video, maybe you said to yourself, this is just way too hard. I'm never going to be able to do this. Or maybe you said, I don't even know how to get started. I don't even know where to start. So the things I'll share today are really going to help you squash that. Okay. So thinking about your goal, is your goal the right size to be working on in the first place? And is it too big? Because if it's too big, we need to break that down into some smaller pieces, chunk it up a little bit so that it can be something that is going to be achievable for you, right? The results in the time, in a certain amount of time. What actions can we take? So that's why really getting to that deeper why, all the things we've been talking about this past week, getting to that deeper why, what is really the goal? What are we going to need to do to get there? And is it really an achievable goal within a certain amount of time, right? And sometimes you might want to think about, what is the easy win that you can get? What is the easiest thing that you can really do to boost your confidence, right? What results can I get right away so that I'm going to feel really good about what I'm doing? What am I going to do that I'm going to feel really great about doing? So what can you do very easily, a very small amount, okay? But then we also want to challenge ourselves, right? So we want to think, what is that bigger goal? What is that bigger vision? So that's really nice to have. That way you can break that down into some of those smaller, easy wins to get you to there, okay? And we can't just think of a goal. We just can't come up with it, right? So we have to think of, how are we going to get there? What resources do we need? Because sometimes this is often overlooked. What resources are we going to need to take action? Because we can't just wish it and want it. We got to do something to get there, right? So what resources do you already have in your little circle around you to help you achieve your goal? Make a list. Make a list of what resources you have around you that are going to help you get there. It could be people, it could be places, it could be things, it could be connections, it could be apps, whatever it is. There are things around you that you don't even realize right now that can help you reach your goal. But on the flip side of that, there's going to be things that you need. There's going to be people that you need. There's going to be resources that you're going to need to help you achieve that goal. So you want to make a list of those as well, because you want to make it as easy for yourself as you can to achieve this goal. Okay. So we need to think of, what do we already have within our power, in our little tool belt, in our little magic bag? What do we already have? Because you have more than you realize. I guarantee you've got more than you realize. And then what do you need? What do you need to go out and find? Because the information, right, is everywhere. Information is everywhere, everywhere. And that's what I love about being a results coach, is the information is there for everybody. But where people fail and where people stumble is in the execution of it, is in the getting the results part. That's where people stumble. And that's where I really excel, is to get you figure out the process, the strategy, the tools, the framework, the schedule, right? Using time blocking, thinking about our energy and our time management. How are we going to put all of those into steps so that you can see results, so that this can be something that you achieve? And sometimes that's a resource that we need to learn, and you need to have somebody help you with. And that's what I absolutely love, love, love doing, is seeing people get those wins and feeling so much better about themselves. Because you can't, we talk about motivation a lot, and motivation, I mean, people can think about it in a lot of different ways. But for me, you know, you can't just, motivation will run out eventually. Motivation will run out. And that's why in my Facebook group, I've really been sharing all through January, we've been doing a challenge. And so every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I drop a new lab about challenges that you're going to face when you're undertaking a new resolution or a goal or intention. There's obstacles that are going to come up. There are things you're going to tell yourself, right? Those doubtful stories, that scarcity, those lacking stories that you're going to tell yourself. And it's when the motivation starts running out that these things are going to start going into your brain. And it's, how do we work through that? How do we overcome that? How do we tell ourselves a new story? So if you find yourself already in that situation where you felt like that and you're struggling already, I definitely would highly, highly recommend you jump over and join our Facebook group. I'll put it up here actually. It's called For a Balanced Life, Just Add Spice. I would highly, highly recommend, because I'm doing a January challenge in there right now, but January is almost done. So actually we did our very last class in there today, and that class was very good. Let me tell you, that lab I dropped today was excellent. So definitely check that lab out. And it's really great. And what I talked about in that last one was people thinking that other people have it so much easier than them. When things get hard, you get jealous, right? You give people a side eye, you give people the stank eye. When things get hard for you, you start coming up with excuses and you say, oh, that person's got it so much easier than me, right? So much easier. That's why they were able to do it and I wasn't. No, 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 no. We are not going to tell that story anymore. We're going to take responsibility. We're going to take accountability. And I went in way more in depth in that video, in that lab that I just dropped in my group. But what I started out saying was, that's why I'm making these videos. And that's why these videos are great, because at different seasons of your life, different moments, different issues are going to come up, right? And what's really great about video, and why I absolutely love doing video now, is the video is going to be here forever. It's always going to be here. So anytime that this problem comes up for you, you can simply go to my Facebook page, you can go to my Facebook group, and you can type in your problem. And the video is going to come up and it's going to answer your problem. It's going to help you work through that right in that moment. And that's what's great about video. It's always going to be here, always going to be here for you. I'm always going to be here for you because I've created this video specifically for that. And that's what I absolutely love. It is there. You simply type in your problem. It will come up for you and it will help you work through that. And like I said, all different season of everybody's life, different things are going to come up. And what I also love about video too is, for the most part, you come across things when you are meant to come across them. When it is needed in your life, something is going to pop up. And it's just whether or not you are tuning yourself and allowing yourself to pick up on that, to pick up on those subtle little signals that the universe is sending to you, right? So kind of tap into that intuition more. And that's what I love about spiritual wellness too, and tapping into our intuition, right? Getting more attuned to things that are happening around us, not just going through like a zombie and we're blind to stuff, really in tune, paying attention, being more self-aware. And that's why I just keep doing this and doing this now, because when you are meant to see it, you are meant to see it. When you are meant to hear that message, you will hear that message and it will speak to you and it will help you solve and get through whatever problem you might be going through in your life. And in turn, if this has helped you and that video has helped you, it's going to help somebody else. So pay it forward, share that video with them. Don't let them struggle alone. Don't let them have those issues by themselves. Okay, you have so much more power to help other people than you realize. And just by sharing that video, sharing that message can help another person so very much. Okay, so that's our daily dose of spice that I have about the goal setting. I kind of went off on a couple different things, but definitely I just felt like that was really important to share. So, so coming up for me and for Spice and all the great things. Later on today, so today's Friday, January 28th, I'm going to be a guest on a LinkedIn Live, and it's going to be great. The host is Melly Moore. She is an ADHD advocate. So she has ADHD herself, and her platform is all about uplifting and supporting and making people aware of learning disabilities and ADHD, and just being a really great advocate for that and showing people you can do anything. Don't let anything hold you back. So I'm going to be a guest on her show. I'm really excited about it because I'm going to be talking about nurses, and specifically nursing students, because one of the most common things that I get asked as a nursing instructor, or things that I hear, is that a student might have a learning disability or they might have ADHD, and they feel like they can't make it through nursing school. They're not going to be able to pass tests. They're not going to be able to go to clinical, or they are scared that they're on medication and that there's going to be an issue with the school or the program because they're on medication. So I'm really going to help you squash all that, because I'm going to share with you all the strategies, all the advice, all the tips that I give to my nursing students so that they can be successful going through their nursing program, taking their tests, studying, taking the NCLEX, passing successfully, getting through clinical and all the things, because nursing school is a whole beast in itself. So if you are a person who has ADHD or any type of learning disability, I'm even going to get into a little bit of anxiety and depression, because that's a whole nother one, because a lot of students have depression, anxiety, and they're taking meds, or they need to get on medication because of the program. And I say that laughing, but in all honesty, that was my situation. That's what happened to me. When I started my LPN program, so this was many years ago, when I was going to get my LPN, my dad ended up having to come live with us because he had a stroke and had a heart attack, went to rehab, and then he came to live with me. And at that time, I had two little kids. I only had two. Now I have three. But at that time, I only had two. I had my son, who was, gosh, just turning 3. My daughter just turned 1. Her very first birthday was on my first day of LPN class. I'll never forget that. So I had those two little ones, and then my dad, and he had a stroke and a heart attack, and after rehab had to come and live with me and my husband. And I was like, how the heck am I going to do this? I just started this super intense LPN program. I've got two little kids. I'm trying to, help take care of my dad. And he was diabetic, insulin, never took care of himself, never did the things he was supposed to do, had all kinds of medications that he was taking. So I was having to manage all his medications, get them from the pharmacy, help him organize them, make sure he took them, make sure he was eating. Because, if you're diabetic, you got to check your blood sugars. You got to watch when you're eating, how much you're eating, all the things. So I had to take care of that as well. My goodness, all the stressors that I was under. Well, I think about 2 months into my program, he ended up passing away. He had a massive heart attack. A blood clot actually went to his brain. I'm going to get emotional. Sorry. Well, not sorry, but you know what I mean. So blood clot went to his brain and he died suddenly. Sorry. No, not sorry. Got to stop saying that. So you even got to retell yourself. So, oh, goodness. This is like 100%, 100% live. So he ended up passing away very suddenly. And I had so much anxiety, so much depression. I had to go on medication. So I don't ever look down or talk negatively about people needing medication, because you do what you need to do to get through. And so that's what I had to do. I had to take medication to get through that program. And I was able to get through that program with the assistance of medication, but I also did a lot of internal work and work that I continue to do, work on my mindset, work on my health, work on my spiritual wellness. All the things that I talk about is what I had to do to get through that program successfully, so I could be the LPN, so I could go on to get my RN, and so I could be where I am today, finishing up my doctorate. So everything happens for a reason. And that's why I never look down on people who need to take medication. I don't take medication anymore because I've done things, like I said, spiritual wise, with my holistic health and all the things that I teach about in Spice. I've done that to not be on medication now. But in that time, in that season, I for sure needed it. And just because you're on medication doesn't mean that you can't be in a nursing program, doesn't mean that you can be a nurse. You totally can do all those things. And I'm an example of that. So Whew, guys, goodness me. Chihuahua. Whew. So, wow. So I'm going to talk about that too. So even though that isn't really related to the ADHD part, it's related to a lot of the concerns that nursing students have about their medications that they're on. You can totally be successful. You can totally make it through nursing school. You can be an amazing nurse, even if you're on medication, even if you have ADHD, even if you have any type of learning disability. So goodness gracious. Definitely tune in to that show later on today. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern today. If you're a nurse, definitely watch it. If you have nursing students, have them watch it. Share it with your fellow nurses, because even once we become nurses, there's all kinds of certifications and all kinds of other tests and all kinds of other great things that you can do. We're always going back to school, and all of those doubts creep in to, I don't care who tells you, a lot of people have doubts. So the tips and stuff that I'm going to share during that live will be so helpful to you. No matter where you're at in your nursing career, it will definitely be helpful to you. Okay. And another great thing I have coming up, and I shared a picture of it that I was working on last night, is I had someone ask me to present a topic to talk about to the VA for Nurses Week. And I was like, yes, of course, I want to speak to the nurses for Nurses Week. So I came up with this presentation, and I'm calling it PPE in Nursing. I was trying to think of something clever that went along with health. So PPE in Nursing, how to find peace, passion, and empowerment in our many roles. So it's going to be all focused on the nurses, and just like it says, how to find passion, peace, and empowerment in our many roles, how to separate work from life, and how to find our passion again for nursing, how to do it in a healthy and sustainable way, right? So that we can be present for our families later on. So we can be fully present for our patients when we are taking care of our patients. We can be fully present for our coworkers when we are there. So definitely we have many roles, right? And how can we do that successfully? How can we do that in a healthy way? How can we battle this pandemic in a healthy way as a frontline worker, as a healthcare provider? So that's definitely going to be a really great presentation. I'm hoping that they accept it so that I can present it, because I'm really into it. And even if they don't accept it, I'm still going to put it together, and I'm still going to put it out there. So I'm excited about that. I want to check the comments really quick, because through my tears, I saw some comments coming through. So I got Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff is amazing. He is wonderful. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning. Jeff, praying God's comfort over you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I 100% appreciate that. All right, my love, my familia. We are going to finish up this live. Oh, and I have one other thing. I am going to be writing a book. I've always wanted to write a book. I love books. I like physical books. I absolutely love books. So I had wrote a little PDF, little kind of book way back when the pandemic first started, and we were all on like house quarantine and like house arrest. And I had wrote a book about that, about how to get through the pandemic then. Well, then after I had got COVID right before Thanksgiving, and then my little guy got COVID right through New Year's, he rang in the new year with COVID. I decided to kind of revisit that ebook that I had wrote and kind of spice it up a little bit more and make it more relevant to what is going on in my life now, and kind of how it's been working at the bedside, because I worked all through the pandemic as an ICU travel nurse. I mean, how it was working as a nurse, but being a mom, being a teacher, because I was still teaching nursing students. So being a teacher, being a business owner, because I legit built my business during the pandemic, which is crazy. And not a lot of people were doing that, but I couldn't imagine a better time to have done it. And I absolutely love it. And so being a business owner, being a mom, being a nurse, being a teacher, how did I do all of that? What was my point of view? What was my experience? Because definitely before the pandemic, before I got sick and when the first pandemic first started, I definitely had a different view of things compared to now, having had COVID and recovering and going through all of that. I definitely have a very different viewpoint. So I really wanted to put that together into a book. And I have a really great partnership with Kidney Trails, who is an awesome, amazing publication house. And so I talked with Mr. Anthony Reed over there. Shout out to Anthony Reed and Kidney Trails and Dwellin and all the fabulous people there. And we're going to write a book, and it's going to be released this summer. And I'm so excited to have an actual physical book. Absolutely love it. So I will let you guys know the process. I'm definitely going to document my journey as I'm making that book as we go along. So I'm really excited for that. And I think that was the last thing I wanted to update everybody on. So thank you, everybody who stuck around. If you're tuning in whenever, wherever, thank you so much. Jeff, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we are going to finish out today's daily dose of spice, and stay tuned mañana because we will have a new daily dose of spice. And as I always say, for a balanced life, just add spice. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Have a fabulous day.